Wingman Joker, thank you for listening to this channel and please support the channel. Please subscribe. Chapter 448. The Pervert and the Demoness 2. Aerith opened her eyes wide as she watched the talisman that Victor stuck on her head burn in a blue flame, and then she felt some kind of darkness leave her body. What just happened? She asked as she looked around. Oh, it was really a curse. Victor, who watched with interest, said. What? She was in shock looking at her familiar yet new refreshed status screen. A certain curse that had always been there was no longer visible. How could that be? Was it some kind of a trick? Don't worry, now it should be all gone, he said. And I win the bet, right? He added with a large victorious grin. Wait, I need to make sure what happened. She began making random excuses as she really needed some time to figure out what just happened. I am telling you, I won, now you are mine, horny girl. He insisted with a smile. Ah, did this bastard just call her a horny girl? Yeah, she had a damn horn, but this was the first time someone dared to say that to her. You bastard, when are we going to hold our wedding? He interrupted. Ah, what? Wait, wedding? Are you going to renege on the bet? He frowned. Ah, right, the bet. She almost forgot. Before she could say anything, she saw a flash of light, then in her vision, she had a new notification. Bet lost. Victor's secret wish. Aerith joined my harem and becomes my wife. Please fulfill the wish or perish trying. Thanks for playing. Ah, what? The screen that she was used to see declaring her victory, was now declaring her defeat. Impossible, how could she lose? How can the curse that even Her Highness, the Storm Lord, couldn't remove dispelled this easily? Aerith was shocked. She still couldn't believe it. But the notification didn't leave anything for doubt. The curse was really removed, and now she had to marry this guy. No wait, not just marry, but enter this damn pervert's harem. Impossible, she was not going to. Before she could fully come to terms with what happened, she felt his lips cover hers. He kissed her. She wanted to struggle, but she stopped as she felt as if her entire bloodline began to boil, stopping her from even trying to push him away. On the contrary, something within her was calling for him, wanting her to grab him harder. She couldn't understand. What the hell was that longing feeling that was slowly growing stronger inside of her, especially as he let go and stepped back from her. The atmosphere around him was no longer that of a dandy young master, but that of a higher race, especially the deep darkness inside his eyes, something that she had to worship. Slowly, she felt something primal within her unwrap, totally unaware that Victor was secretly activating his demonic bloodline and testing his effect on her. Sorry about that, but I couldn't hold myself when I saw your pretty pouting face, he sighed as he extended his hand and brushed away a strand of hair that fell to her cheek. We can take it slow if you want. I don't really like to force anyone, he began to speak, but he didn't continue as the girl who seemed to have already lost all reason pushed him onto her desk and then jumped him like the horny girl she was. Ellipsis. In a great fortress built on a steep cliff above a raging sea, inside a grand meeting room, 3 women were busy reviewing some documents when the door knocked. Enter, the oldest, a regal-looking woman with short gray braided hair said in a stern voice. The door opened and a knight entered and saluted. Reporting. Is it about the competition? One woman who had short red hair asked. She seemed to be the youngest between them, but the knight seemed to be respecting her most. Yes, my lady, Lady Lyra sent in a report about a change in the contestants, the knight said, walking forward and presenting a document. That girl, I swear, she should have sent this yesterday, the red-haired woman said as she opened the document and then frowned. She added a new guy? She asked, looking at the report. Yes, Lady Lyra met him yesterday by accident. She witnessed him killing a few villagers, and when she questioned him he told her that they were cannibals and planned to attack him. We couldn't really find any conclusive evidence of what he claimed, so we planned to bring him in for further investigation, but then he said that he was searching for you, that's why Lady Lyra abruptly decided to just send him to the competition. The knight said. He had a noble aura around him? The third woman who had long gray hair asked. Yeah, the knight nodded. But he never truly confessed to being of any of the known houses. Rosette, you should really discipline that girl, the old woman said to the red-haired woman. It is a well-known fact that there is nothing a good spanking would not fix. Aunt Ariana, you know her character. After getting scammed by that guy, the girl became a little too allergic to handsome noble young men, Rosette said, shaking his head. All that spanking philosophy made the Von Weiss family a den of perverts. Growing up there, she knew it better than anyone. Then just marry her off. That would fix her up well. The other woman said, find her a farm boy if she doesn't like nobles. Quote. Rosette didn't answer. Although she grew up in the Von Weiss family, she still couldn't get used to their ancient way of thinking. She just sighed and continued to flip the pages of the report. Suddenly she paused and frowned as she reached the last portion of it. Ah, is this a drawing of the guy you said Elise captured? She asked the knight as she looked at the carbon sketch of a handsome young man. Yes, milady, the knight said. He has purple hair and calls himself Victor White. She asked, confirming the descriptions she had just read. Yes, the knight began to feel that something was wrong with her tone, but he didn't dare to ask. What? Hearing what Rosette said, Ariana stood from her chair and took 2 steps to look at the document in front of Rosette. Damn, that guy is really handsome. No wonder that lowborn lass got all edgy. Aunt Arian, doesn't he look like Theodore's? Rosette, who remained silent for a moment there, suddenly asked. What, you girl and your fantasies, but, yeah, kinda. Right Mirai? She asked the third woman who also joined them. I can't really tell, but somehow, he does. Mirai said, I know right, especially the eyes. Quote. Wait, is this guy's hair color lavender purple or spider mushroom purple? Arian turned to the knight and asked him. Ah, I only saw him from afar, but it was more like black dragon horn purple, he said nervously, making Ariana gasp. And did you just say that this guy wanted to meet me? Rosette asked the knight. Yes, not only you, Lady Ariana too. He said you were supposedly his long-lost family members whom he was tracking or something, another lame excuse if I may say so myself. Quote. Holy shit, Ariana spat. Fuck, this guy might be the real deal. Mirai said. Quote. There was an awkward silence after that. Wait, did the contest start yet? Arian quickly asked the knight as she remembered a very important fact. Ah, it should be underway, he said. He was not sure. Let's go, Rosette said as she jumped from her chair. We need to hurry. With the last word, Arian stormed out of the room, followed by the others, leaving the knight standing there in shock. He was not stupid. Ah, he had one thought in mind. It would take 3 hours to reach the capital on a wyvern's back, and by that time, he sighed. Lady Lyra was going to be very screwed. Ellipsis. Aerith opened her eyes and looked at the familiar fake sky that covered her garden. Why was she sleeping on the ground? Ah, she abruptly sat up, as she began to recall what happened in the last few hours, looking to the side where a young man was lying next to her on the grass. He rested his head on one arm as he slowly inspected her face with a grin. The same damn grin he kept all the time as she abused the fuck out of him. Ah, she yelped and blushed, not knowing what to say. What did you do to me? She asked. How the hell would I know? You were the one who did all the doing, he said with a smirk. Ah, she paused as she remembered some very embracing scenes that she could never imagine that she would ever do. He was completely right. She did all the doing. Thankfully she dismissed the maids earlier, or the image of the cold heartless commander she had been building for ages would have all collapsed. I didn't expect you to be that kind of a girl, he sighed. Her image had already collapsed in his mind. As expected, a man can never underestimate a horny girl. Hearing him, all the embarrassment she felt evaporated. Damn bastard, can't you just drop it? Do you wanna die? She said as he tried to grab his shirt, but suddenly discovered that he was wearing none. Both of them were completely in their birthday suits. Ah, she hurried to cover her body with her hands as she began to look around for something to wear. Too bad the military uniform she was wearing earlier was already shredded by her, and Victor had nothing but that squeaky armor that had already turned into scrap metal when she yanked it off him. Killing your husband already, he sighed again, watching her take a dress from her storage ring and begin to put it on. Shut up, who said I was your wife? She spat as she got dressed. Although he really miraculously cured her, she would never sell her body to a pervert. She would find another way to reward him. The bet did, and a while ago the system notified me that I have married you, he said. Ah, she paused as she opened her system screen, and sure there it was. System connections. Lord Blessing. Major, SSS, Storm Lord. Victor, husband, 11. Ah, damn it, Her Highness had warned her to be very careful as the bets made with the artifact can't be regarded. Shit, she should have been more careful. So, when are we going to hold our wedding? He asked. Who said we need to do that? She spat angrily, still refusing to admit it. They can just be married on paper and divorced the next day, No, not the next day, the next moment. No one said she had to keep being his wife, right, right. So, you plan to escape without paying after eating your fill, he sighed for the third time. Am I that cheap to you? He asked. The girl didn't know that system marriages were almost impossible to break, and he was not going to tell her that yet. Shut up. You are cheaper than cheap. She scolded him again, kicking him with her leg. Her mind was in shambles and she had no idea why she acted like a sex-starved beast earlier. Damn it. Ouch. You don't have to be so violent. He said. What was wrong with all his wives going that path? Was there something wrong with him? Then stop being an ass and let me think. She spat. She needed to clear her mind. Fine, he chuckled as he relaxed on the grass. Quote. 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 If you really want to marry me, I don't mind, she finally said after an awkward 5 minutes. She was not a cheap woman, since she already slept with him, he should be considered her husband. And he really felt good earlier. She blushed a little. Really? He asked with a smile. But, she paused as she looked at him. He was really handsome, but she couldn't just fall for him. But what? Making conditions already? Shut up and listen. I want to ask you about something first. She took a deep breath. What? Answer truthfully. Why did you want to meet my mother? She asked directly. If this guy had some ulterior motive, she would really make him live a life worse than death. Ariana is your mother? He asked. Just to make sure, though he could already tell the truth from the bloodline appraisal. Quote. Lady Rosette is my mother, she said. Ah, Rosette, I see, he sighed. So it was all true. Poor Theodore. Is there a problem? She asked, raising one eyebrow. As she tried to inspect Victor's facial expression, she failed. He was just too handsome to analyze. Well, no, just a random thought, he dismissed her. I am just a little relieved that I was able to locate them at last. He said as he clearly relaxed his body. Locate them? She asked as she got defensive. Could it be that he worked for that Sun Lord? Ariana should be my great-aunt or something like that, and Rosette is my stepmother. He said, telling the truth directly. Or should have. I am not sure if she married my father yet or not. He shrugged. Did his father explain that? He didn't remember. Oh, I see. Wait, what? Hearing him, Aerith spat in shock. That was not the answer she expected. She thought he was another guy after an oath. Are you kidding? She asked. No, I am not kidding, he said. My real name is Victor von Weiss, an heir of the von Weiss family. Quote. Wait, that means, you are from, she gasped. Yeah, you see, I am not from this world. He nodded. I came to this strange world by accident about a month or so ago after falling into a strange gate in the mines. I was searching for clues about my whereabouts when I accidentally found info about my family members who disappeared 20 years ago through the same gate I fell through. With the help of my master who saved my life from the demons in the east, I followed the leads that led me to the elven lands then here. That's when I met Lyra. When I asked her about my great-aunt Ariana, she told me that she would help me meet her, then brought me here and threw me in this stupid competition, he shrugged. I was really planning to start causing trouble, but the moment I laid my eyes on you, I really lost it, he sighed again as he turned his scamming dial to the extreme. Oh, hearing him, Aerith opened her mouth wide as her expression went from disbelief to genuine surprise. She knew that he couldn't be lying. The secret of her mother being from another world was something only few knew, even the elves didn't know of the name von Weiss. Destiny is really a strange thing, Victor contemplated. We were really destined to meet. Oh, stop with the acting, I am not a naive little girl, she spat. Why the fuck didn't you use your real name from the start, she asked. You could have avoided all this mess. My master advised me to not use it in public just in case my family has used it before. The elves are still searching for them. She frowned. He had a point there. They did catch a few of the elf spies throughout the years. Wait, she suddenly said as she thought of something. What, doesn't that make us siblings? She gasped. Did she just fuck her brother? Step-siblings, not blood-related ones. He nodded. And I am not really sure what happened between my father and your mother. They might not have married yet, so we are in the clear, he said. And technically speaking, every man has a fantasy to marry his pretty stepsister. She glared at him. Did she really have to marry this guy? She was already regretting it. He was handsome and everything but his character. What, can't you stop acting like a pervert for a moment? she asked in a disbelieving tone as she took out a leather coat from her ring and threw it at him. She just remembered that he couldn't use his ring due to a certain curse and she has been having difficulty stopping herself from looking at his perfectly sculpted body. I don't know, never tried, he said, as he caught the coat but just threw it to the side, and leaned forward toward her. But right now, I really want to be a pervert for a while longer. Ah, she wanted to push him away. There was no time for this. She really needed to inform her mother, and there were a ton of things to check to verify what he said. But again, her body began to feel strange, refusing to obey her. What was going on? Why couldn't she resist him? Moments later their lips touched each other, her hand was all over him again, and her leg wrapped around his waist to stop him from escaping. He was all hers. Bam! The door of the Guardian burst open moments later as 3 women entered in a hurry. Stop! They shouted, then paused as they saw a very inappropriate scene. Ah! Aerith quickly stepped back with her face turned beet red. Victor on the other hand just turned and looked at the newcomers. Hi, I am Victor, he said shamelessly as he grabbed the coat on the ground to cover his body. Do you mind giving us some time, he said. Quote. This guy is definitely Theodore's son. It was Ariana who said it as she inspected the young man from head to toe. Let's give them some time, she said as she turned and left, then paused and grabbed Rosette whose mouth was still gaping in shock.